While Dan's queuing that up real quick, guys, what is it that you guys want to hear, know about, learn today? Why are we here? Anyone got anything specific? Take some notes, write it down. That on the screen? Anyone? Bueller? No one came here with any intention to learn anything specific?
How to be safe at an open house.
How to know if you're getting set up. Somebody reaches out, contacts you. Can I see this house? You're alone. You're showing them a house. How do you know when you're getting set up?
Good one. Both good ones. Nice music, whoever that is.
I liked it. All right, let's this is an older video, but it's still in effect today. Talks a lot about just common sense on how you can stay safe, not only at houses, at home, in the office, but also with clients. Can everyone hear that?
Kind of.
Kind of?
Hi, I'm Pam Mack. As a real
There you
estate
go.
professional, your days vary, meeting different people in different and often new locations. And that puts you at greater risk than meeting other professionals. Which means when it comes to safety, you have a lot more to think about and to look out for. Staying safe as well as successful requires common sense and real strategies to help you minimize risk. So for the next few minutes, I'll provide some practical tips that, coupled with your own good instincts, will help keep you, your family, and your clients safe every day. At the office, remember there is safety in numbers. If you must work alone, be sure the doors and windows are locked after hours. If you're working alone, keep a radio playing a talk show, which is likely to make an intruder think there are several people on the premises. Always keep your windows and counters clear so anyone can see what's happening inside. This will help the police and hinder a potential thief. Be sure you have your mobile phone nearby. Keeping it clipped to your clothing is best of all. Consider getting a personal alarm you can trigger if something unexpected should happen. Also, check to see if your office has smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, plus a door alarm system. And if it doesn't, mention it to your office manager. Also, ask if the building has been inspected recently for fire hazards. Marketing and advertising are important tools for building your business. When preparing materials, such as business cards, flyers, and ads, keep your materials polished and professional. Limit personal details and use a business address, phone number, and email address or website. Also, be careful of information you post and allow others to see on your social media accounts. Remember, this information is a virtual representation of you and your business. Many agents spend a lot of time showing properties, often to people they don't know very well. So before even going to a property, it's a good idea to introduce a new client to your associates.
Hi, nice to meet you.
That way, it sends a clear message that someone else knows who you're with. It's also best to ask new clients to take their own car to the property you're showing, just to be sure. To keep it from being awkward, just say you're going on to another appointment and you don't want to delay them. Make sure your car is in good working condition and has plenty of gas. You don't want to find yourself stranded in the middle of traffic. Always lock your car doors, buckle up, and put that cell phone away so you can concentrate on your driving. If you must make a call, find a safe place to pull over, but don't linger in your car talking on the phone or going over paperwork. You'll make an inviting target for a carjacker. It's important to be aware of your surroundings. When you arrive at your location, follow the 10-second rule. 2 seconds when you arrive at your destination. Are you parked in a well-lit, visible location? Can you be blocked in the driveway by a prospect's vehicle? Take 2 seconds after you step out of your car. Are there any suspicious people around? Do you know exactly where you're going? Take 2 seconds as you walk towards your destination. Are people coming and going, or is the area unusually quiet? Do you observe any obstacles or hiding places in the parking lot or along the street? Is anyone loitering in the area? Take 2 seconds at the door. Do you have an uneasy feeling as you're walking in? Is someone following you in? Take 2 seconds as you enter your destination. Does anything seem out of place? Is anyone present who shouldn't be there or who isn't expected? Taking in your surroundings lets you spot and avoid danger. So make it a part of your daily routine. Be careful showing unoccupied or vacant properties because you might be surprised by a slippery floor, a pet that doesn't like strangers, or unauthorized residents. Have a flashlight with you for dark staircases and keep your cell phone handy in case you need to dial 911. When showing a home, take some time to preview the property and neighborhood. Not only will you be able to pick up some key details about the property's selling features and the neighborhood, you'll also be able to establish a safety plan. When entering and touring the property, it's best to let the client precede you, give them directions, and be sure you know how to make a quick exit should you be threatened. When preparing for an open house, visit the local police and fire stations. Leave your card and let them know where you'll be and during what hours. That way, 2 emergency teams will know where you are and when. Also, try to bring a friend or family member with you to your open house so you're not alone. If that's not practical, at least introduce yourself to the neighbors and keep your cell phone nearby and turned on. If at any time you feel uncomfortable, step outside. It's also a good idea to have a distress code phrase set up with someone to let them know if you feel threatened and don't want your prospect to catch on. Call your office and say something like, I need the red file right away. Be especially careful near the end of your open house because a predator may show up then, thinking you're more likely to be alone, and park where you can't be locked in. Be sure your home is equipped with smoke and carbon monoxide detectors and full 1-inch deadbolt locks on all entry doors. Glass doors should have a double cylinder lock that requires a key from both sides. If you have sliding glass doors, put a wooden rod in the track so it can't be opened from the outside. And consider replacing the glass with shatterproof material. Make sure your porches, entrances, and yards are well lit. Never hide keys in mailboxes, planters, or under the doormat. Consider installing a home alarm system and make sure you have a panic button feature you can access in the room you use as an office. Keep a charged mobile phone with you at all times and program emergency numbers as speed dials on both your home phone and your cell phone. Identity theft has become a growing problem for everyone. Steps to protect all financial information, yours and your clients. Be sure your computer is password protected and has firewall and antivirus protection. Download software only from reliable sources and use passwords with at least 8 characters, including both letters and numbers. And be sure to back up your important files on an external hard drive. If your state allows, have fraud monitoring placed on your credit report. Any of the major reporting companies can do this, which lets companies know they must contact you before opening any new accounts in your name. Buy a shredder to destroy documents, especially anything with credit card numbers, account numbers, PIN numbers, and other financial information. Stop pre-approved credit offers by calling 888-5-OPT-OUT. Be on guard against phishers, people who save it from a bank, store, or government office, and ask you to verify your account number or passwords. Enter personal information only on web pages that have HTTPS in the address bar and the closed padlock symbol at the bottom of the browser window. And remember that credit cards offer more protection than debit cards. By following these strategies and your instincts, you can protect yourself, your family, and your clients, and ensure that your career will be both safe and successful. This is just an overview of some common situations you may face in your daily routine. For more safety tips, free webinars, articles, and more. Visit www.realtor.org/safety. Thanks for watching, and remember, be safe and successful.
All right, what kind of ahas you guys have?
I liked bringing the dowel rod for the sliding glass doors, but if it's an open house, don't you want people going in and out freely?
Good
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
So I think, as we went through with that, right, they were talking about the down rod when you're at home, right? So a lot of people today use their home as their office, as their primary office. It is never a good idea to invite people you don't know to your house for business, okay? New customers, new clients. But what we do see out there many times is that a lot of agents would, just for sheer convenience, work out of their home, build a home office, and then invite people over to their home office to work. So if you're working out of your home and you have a sliding glass door, one of the things to do to kind of make it safer is to put that little piece of that stick behind the door so it won't open. But the recommendation is that we never bring people to our own personal properties.
Okay.
What else we got? You know, what about when they were talking about safety with the client, right? They talked about have them take their own car, right? How many people put their invite their clients into the car with them?
No.
Does anyone do it?
Not
That's
me.
a negative on that one.
Someone's lying. Someone's done it.
I've done it plenty of times, but haven't in a long time.
There you go. Because the
I
world's
used
not.
to always do
that
it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No, we used to always do it, you know, for years. You had to have a clean car and took everybody, but I haven't done it for years, and it wasn't really for safety. It was just like, you really don't want to drive with me. Why don't you just follow?
Thanks, Dave.
And people appreciate that.
The honesty.
Yeah, I had an older couple that just expected that. So the first time it was a little awkward. And then I said, I'm sorry, COVID. I use COVID as an excuse because I'm thinking, what if I get in an accident, you know, and the liability. So I cut that real quick.
Sure, absolutely. You know, that's a great point about liability, right? Has anyone put who is an independent agent, right? You get a 1099 every year. You file your taxes as your own self-employed or a LLC or something, right? But did anyone get extra car insurance to let them know that you may have clients in your car that you're using it for business? Nope. So what do you think will happen if you're on a business call with a client and you get into a car accident? Your insurance probably won't cover that person if you were using your vehicle for transportation for business purposes. Okay, so keep that in mind. What else can we do when we're meeting clients that we've never met before, people that are strangers? How do we document or find out a little bit about who they are or how to be safe?
Get a copy of their license.
Good. What if they meet you at a house and really don't want to give you any ID?
And don't meet them. Bring somebody with you.
And I wrote down a pre-approval letter. Probably one of the biggest things that agents don't do is get a pre-approval letter or copy of that. Why is that so important for agent safety? Besides the fact that you'll be wasting your time, but what happens during a pre-approval process?
It's going to sift out the riffraff, the people who aren't really focused on what they're doing.
Okay, so but when someone applies for a mortgage, they have to give their name, date of birth, address, phone number, social security number, all that stuff, right? In order for them to be pre-approved. So you basically now have someone with a pre-approval letter that is, at least you know they have been through some sort of identification process. So going back to how do you know you're not getting set up? Well, if somebody calls you out of the blue and says, hey, I want to see this house at so-and-so time, so-and-so location, all right, great, fantastic. It's our standard and our standard operating procedure that we make sure that all of our clients have been through a pre-approval process. Can you please email me your pre-approval letter or text it to me? Now, if you hear crickets or if there's a lot of hemming and hawing in police work, and Dan and I both served, we know that your hair starts to stand on the back of your neck. When you start to feel that way, and you start to ask questions that are giving you kind of some indications that this person may or may not be trustworthy, you always have the right to deny that person, right? And just say, look, unless you have a pre-approval letter, it's our standard operating procedure that we have that in place. So here's a couple of vendors that you can call and get it done, and I'd be happy to show to you that property in a couple of days.
What if it's a rental property? And I mean, I've come in contact with a lot of people that want to rent, but they don't want you to do the whole background check and everything, because I mean, they complain about the $35, but they're going to have to pay it anyway if they want the place. But a lot of them don't want to do it ahead of time. That way you at least get a little bit of background on them. I mean, in cases like that, what do you suggest?
So, great point, Quinn. Well, what I suggest in dealing with renters is that no matter what, you're going to have to run them through a tenant check, right?
Yeah.
Whichever website we use, whether they're TransUnion or whatever. Just like a pre-qualification process. Renters are no different. So if they want to look at a rental property or they're interested in a rental property, first things you probably should do is ask them, say, okay, well, obviously we want to try and get them to buy, right? That would be the best thing. But if they can't buy, why can't they buy? So get them to try and give you the information that's necessary for a rent check through TransUnion. I think it's TransUnion that we use here in the office, right? Steph, anyone know? Is it TransUnion?
We use Tenant Safe, but Rosalie has a log, and everyone sets up their own portal because the clients pay for it, so nothing actually runs through the brokerage. But you can contact Rosalie for Tenant Safe information. Right.
Yeah. So and for those of you that don't know how it works, when you get your tenant's email address, you can actually put their name and their email address in on your portal, and it'll email them the application form. So even if they don't present it to you personally, they have to go online and they have to do it. And all that information is now stored in the background.
Yeah, it's a great point, Quinn. And remember, you are the real estate professionals. Your clients, anyone's calling, they're looking to you for your information, for your guidance. And so when we have the conversation of, okay, I understand, Mr. and Mrs. Renter, that you don't want to go through a process. However, this is the process. They're going to hopefully respect the fact that you're the professional. You're going to tell them the process. You're going to explain to them what to do. And ultimately, if someone's really pushing back, I would really want to know why. All right, I'm just curious, Mr. and Mrs. Renter. I've explained to you the process. This is standard operating procedures or guidelines to go through and get a rental. Just curious, why are you giving me so much resistance? Right. These are the kinds of conversations that should start to pique your interest and start to kind of give you a little bit of a sixth sense of who you're dealing with and whether or not you should continue the conversation. That brings me to another a note that I wrote down was command presence. I mean, we use it in police work all the time. Dan and I are very aware of command presence. How you show up, where you park your car, how far behind the car in front of you are you in traffic? Like, these are all kinds of things. Where to stand at an open house, where to stand when directing your buyers into a home, out of a home. Those are all kinds of things that you guys should start thinking about. And she mentioned basically command presence of figuring out where you are, where the exits are, and how you move through a home and how you direct your clients through the home. And if you caught it on the video, the one agent was kind of directing them, steering them home. Here, go ahead inside, go check out the kitchen, right? She's directing that person. If the normal person's going to say, oh, great, yeah, no problem. Let's go check it out. People who are probably less than genuine would be stalling, would be looking around more, would be kind of, maybe analyzing in their head what they're going to be doing next. So when you're giving someone those kinds of commands and you have a blank stare somebody's giving you a blank stare, if someone's not responding to you well, to your, instructions, those are other indicators that these people may be up to something other than just buying a home.
Everyone understand that?
Yes.
One of the other tools that you have to go along with that, what Dan said, when you get to a property, one of the tools that you have that we all have is this wonderful thing called a cell phone. And on the cell phone, it has two very important tools that you can use. Before you even get out of your car, you can have your cell phone open to your notepad, and you pull up and you park behind your client's car or directly in front of it. And you can act like you're sending a text message to somebody, hey, I arrived here, whatever it is. I'm finishing up a text message, but really you're using that notepad to take down a license plate number on the vehicle.
Or take a photo.
Or take a photo, a quick photo.
That's a great idea.
One of the other things I told Dan a lot of times, if I've got a new client that's really a first-time home buyer or eager or really just excited about the home buying process, I'll ask them to snap a picture of us, do a selfie, them and I. Not that I'm really, from a safety standpoint, but to capture the historic moment, right? Hey, this is going to be the first time we meet. You're going to want this picture when you find that dream home of how you first started the process. And here we are, snap, snap. What does that do? Gives you a picture of the person you're with, right? Now you got a picture, you got secondary information from the vehicle. You're just taking little steps that they don't even realize you're doing it to protect yourself. So these are little safety measures that you can do by thinking outside of the box and really kind of setting yourself up for success and setting yourself up to be safe in the long run.
The other thing on the cell phones is that you have, and the lady in the video mentioned, some sort of stress code. Whether you call someone, say, hey, I need the red folder, I think she said. Well, you could also have a stress text. So you can have a text in the draft to send to someone, and this is all pre-planned. So if you're going somewhere and your husband's, wants to come with you, that's even better, because then you have another person there, strength in numbers. But if you're going to check out a client, check out a home, and you think something might be a little bit fishy, you can have a text message in draft form ready to send. And it could be something like, red folder, 911, whatever the case is. Because if you can't make a phone call, at least your text message screen is open. You're ready to hit send. And if God forbid something happens, you can send that text message. That could be the catalyst of getting help to you. So that's kind of preoperative planning. That's, really taking the time to put together a text and be proactive in your safety. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dan's.
Yes, sir.
Most phones, just as a little add-on there, most phones, if you type in OMW or on my way, it'll say share location, in which case you can just hit that share location and it'll pull up Google Maps and actually pinpoint where you are. So if you have a spouse, a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, and you're going to meet somebody you don't know, you can just send them a text, on my way, and it'll pull up share location. You can hit that. That way they'll know the exact spot that you're at.
That's a great point, Steve. Personally, I don't ever use it because my wife knows where I am enough of the time. I don't need her to follow me, but that's a good point for those of you that want to stay safe.
Right.
What else? What else do we got? What else? Is there anything that we haven't talked about that someone uses out there to stay safe?
Don't park in the driveway.
Don't park in the driveway. You can get blocked in, right? I think I said this before at a meeting, at an office meeting or something. How much information are you putting in showing time? Right? I mean, showing time is set up for you to capture your client's information if it's a seller and your client's information if it's a buyer, right? So if you're going to visit a house, you can put everybody's information right in showing time to track what you're doing for the day. Also, if you're doing multiple showings, right, with multiple clients, it'll actually print out a schedule for you, which makes it easier for you to use, as well as keeping you all the information in one little database under your profile.
I have a question. So if it's not an open house and it's just, you know, you're doing a showing for a property, and the client, obviously, a lot of them want you to tour the house with them. Do you recommend if it's a multi-level unit that you walk up the steps first, or you let them walk up the steps first? I know that's probably a silly question, but.
Well, I don't think it's a silly question.
Good question.
I personally, I prefer to have everything in front of me. I don't like anyone behind me. I don't like anybody behind my back. Listen, that's just a personal preference. That's the law enforcement side of me coming out. I like to be able to watch somebody's movements. You know, it's just a visual thing for me. You know, if I go to a restaurant, my back is almost always to a wall, you know, so I can see in front of me. But that's just me.
And same thing in the open houses, as your open house or just walking through homes, being cognizant about what is behind you. Like Dan and I instinctively know wherever we go, our backs to the wall or a corner.
Here's the other thing, and some people are gonna find this funny, and it's not meant to be funny. It's not intended to be funny. We all have an obligation also to keep our clients safe as well. But I got a wife and children. Most of you have wife or a husband and children or a significant other, right? You want to go home every day, no matter what. So when I send people in front of me, if something happens in front of them, I have somebody between me and the problem, right? And that gives me time to react. Not necessarily putting them at my clients at risk, but giving me an opportunity on how to respond to the situation. So if you're the first one there and you're kind of distracted, looking at your clients going up the stairs, and all of a sudden somebody comes out of a bedroom to your left or to your right, and you're not paying attention, you're kind of going to get caught off guard. So I would absolutely, again, you know, we always say keep your head on a swivel, but keep the known in front of you so you can see. Keep what's known in front of you and keep what's unknown farther away from you.
Any other ahas?
Okay, we got another video here that's going to talk about social media and cyber safety. Why is that so critically important?
'Cause we
Anybody
live
on
in a
social media?
twisted world.
So social creeps me out a little bit when I get leads from there, because you don't know who these people are and what their intentions are.
Exactly.
So I try to be like extra cautious. Like if I'm decide to meet somebody, or you know, I stalk them a little bit.
Yes.
It's really legit.
That's a good point. There are a lot of creeps out there.
I actually like to find people on LinkedIn and on Facebook and on Instagram. And then what I do is, as part of an icebreaker in a conversation on a lead, when I make that first call, is, hey, we got a bunch of friends in common. Did you know that? And some people will be like, well, how did you know that? People will be like, how did you know that? Well, as part of my job as a salesperson, is to find out who I'm talking to and what your preferences are. So I actually looked you up on Facebook to see if we knew anybody together. It also allows me to tell you that I know them, and you can call them to find out everything you wanted to know about me. Establish some credibility with them, right? But at least now you start to get a little background information on them, right? All right, let me try getting this other video up real quick. Should be all queued up. Social media. Go.
Hi, I'm Pam Mack. As a real estate professional in today's digital world, your day probably includes social networking, smartphones, email, and online communication.
Ooh.
Social networking websites like Facebook and Twitter, in particular, are services you most likely use to connect with others and share information like photos, videos, and personal messages. As these social sites become more popular, so do the risks of using them. Hackers, spammers, virus writers, identity thieves, and other criminals follow the traffic. For the next few minutes, I will provide some practical tips and strategies to help you protect yourself when using social media, your data, and your online reputation. Let's talk about social media safety first. The best way to protect yourself when using social media is simple. Set up separate social media accounts for yourself and your business. Also, be sure to only accept requests to connect with strangers on the business account. Keep your personal accounts private and viewable only by friends, ensuring your family photos, links to your pic pages, and personal posts are protected. People enjoy sharing what they're doing, where they're going, or if they're on vacation using social media. Unfortunately, what you've also done is told everyone where you will be alone or if you're not at home. Never post personal information, including your current location. One way that hackers manage to crack personal passwords is by searching the internet for easy answers. They know they may find answers to common security questions, such as, what are your children's names? And what high school did you attend? Keeping information about family members and your past to a minimum can help prevent this. Remember, the best rule is not to put anything in your profile or status that you wouldn't want a stranger to know. Geotagging is the process of adding geographical identification to digital photographs, videos, websites, and even SMS messages. Uploading geotagged photos from a phone to social networking sites can give cyberstalkers precise location information. The most obvious way to protect yourself is one you may have forgotten. You can turn off the geotagging feature in most phones by going to Settings. With all the information coming and going from our phones these days, it's good to know that there are companies with products to make sure the wrong information isn't being sent. Download software for your computer that will search for geotagging information in photos and remove it. Understand what information you are sharing and stay up to date with the products you use that involve geotagging information. And make sure your friends and coworkers are aware of the issue. Most real estate businesses, including associations, brokerages, and MLSs, keep sensitive personal information in your file. As a result, the keeper of this sensitive data may be at risk. If personal information falls into the wrong hands, it can lead to fraud, identity theft, or similar harms. Given the potential legal and liability costs of a security breach, in addition to the cost of one's reputation, it's best that your office develop a data security program based on the Federal Trade Commission's 5 key principles to a sound data security program. Information on data security, including these 5 basic principles, can be found on the FTC Bureau of Consumer Protection website at www.ftc.gov/infosecurity. Social media usage has an impact on your safety and also on your reputation. Even though you may be careful about how much information you provide, it's always best to take stock of your online reputation on a regular basis. Evaluate your online reputation by finding out what is on the internet about you. Type your name in a search engine and review what others have posted about you in comments, pictures, blogs, and videos. Take steps to protect your reputation by determining if it reflects the way you want others to perceive you. If not, ask politely for the person who posted it to remove it or correct it. Restoring your reputation may require other actions. If someone does not respond to your request to remove content or refuses to do so, contact the website administrator. If public correction is necessary, present your case simply and politely without attacking the person. Take these simple steps when using social media, and you'll help safeguard yourself, your identity, and your reputation. To learn more about safety strategies and access free safety resources, visit www.realtor.org/safety. Thanks for watching, and remember, be safe and successful.
All right, what are you guys hearing?
Anyone?
Don't post your vacation photos.
Kath, isn't every day a vacation for you though? You're like a beachfront there, sun up, right?
It isn't my, yes, absolutely.
I'm the absolute. I will post everywhere with my kids, what we're doing, when we're skiing, when we're swimming, when we're, but I think that kind of weighs into letting people know, who I am and who the family is too, right? So try to generate more business. So it's kind of a balance there, what you feel comfortable with and what you don't feel comfortable with.
If you
can
want,
always post them after you get home.
yeah, that's what I was going to say, Kath.
Yeah, post them when you get back.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I wait till I get back and then I'll post photos, when I'm back. Because like Dan said, you want people to know that you're a real human being. You have kids, you want whatever. So you want to be active that way. Most of the time I'll share where my location is, if it's something that is mundane, but if it's extended, like a vacation or something, I'm definitely not posting that until I get back. Any other anything else that you guys are doing?
I think someone touched on it a little earlier. Facebook ads and Facebook leads, right? there is a high number of people who create fake pages that you will not know whether or not they are who they say they are. So when you follow up with leads and you make appointments with social media leads, definitely use extra precautions. Again, we talked about it a little on the last one. Start researching, start looking around to see if you Google search, you can find just about everybody on a Google search, just about everybody. So, you know, some of those of us that are nosier than others will not only do a Google search, but then we'll take the name and put arrested behind it. So now I'm doing a Google search for the person to see if they've ever been arrested. You know, it's almost kind of like doing a criminal history background without actually using official computers. Yeah, I mean, there's just multiple ways to actually do homework on the people that you're visiting. So if you get someone who, you know, has been in trouble before, maybe they, well, let me put it to you this way. What about the sex offender website, the sex offender page, right? So all sex offenders are registered and they're publicly posted, so people know who they are and can understand that they have to be a little cautious around that, right? So if you put somebody's name in and it came up on the sex offender registry, would that heighten your level of awareness when you meet them?
It would for me.
It would, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd think maybe you'd probably bring somebody with you.
Absolutely.
Listen, we don't want to say they can't buy a house. They can, right? But at the same time,
Don't
you want
walk
to be
blindly into a situation.
exactly.
Right.
Great point. Great point. Common sense, remember?
Follow your gut.
Yeah, and I think the last video made a statement that is key for everybody. You want to create strategies that minimize the risk to you. Okay, so understanding what is safe and unsafe, understanding best practices on how you can be keep yourself safe is really what this is all about.
What kind of questions, kind of ahas? Anyone want to run a scenario?
I don't really have a question. I just want to, comment quickly. I dealt with a client at my car business, and we had a problem with the car. We had to chase the car. They wrote us a bad check. Everything seemed smooth and whatever. And a little while later, we found out that individual was arrested by the FBI, human trafficking, whole big thing. So it was like, wow, this is like right here. And it's scary. It's here. Stuff is here.
Yeah.
But they did bust them and everything. But it was just an eye opener to me, because that to me is always something you see on TV. And I was like, wow, that was right here in Atlantic City.
Yeah,
It's all over. Listen, there are people like that everywhere. So just be careful. The biggest takeaway we can have from the safety class is to get as much information on the people that you deal with before you actually deal with them.
I'd like to make a comment also, guys. I think I've joked around with some of you that I've coached before, saying I don't do basements and attics. But that's a safety issue. And I also don't go into a room. So if you're upstairs, I let them go ahead of me, and I'll be in the hallway and let them check out the bedrooms. I don't want to get myself trapped in a room.
great point.
That's smart. How do you handle a house when it's somebody's living there and you're showing a house? Because you don't really want them poking around in somebody's stuff.
Yeah, it's safe distance that you can continually observe, right? Because obviously you don't want someone going into someone's jewelry box and then your client finds out that something's missing and you were the one that brought somebody in the house, right? Yeah. So obviously, safe distance, but close enough for observation.
Okay.
So Dan, too, as a
Yeah,
listing agent, I think that that's part of, Val, that is part of my conversation with the homeowner about valuables, medications, checkbooks, purses, that all of that be put away so that it's not, even, I've even asked people to empty out their medicine cabinets and just put it in a shoebox and tuck it under the bed.
If there's a big room, or especially, like Kathy says, I would open the door, allow them to walk in, and then put my back towards the open door. And I could visually still see them in the room, and I have 1 foot out the hallway. So you could position yourself in a manner that doesn't allow the door to be slammed on you or closed on you, and also still have presence of where your clients are within the room.
All right. Anything else?
No, but I appreciate this very much. I love this.
Great.
I love the snapping a selfie, celebrating the occasion. Oh, we're starting a journey together. Boom, you've got them documented. That's great.
Yeah. Like I said, think outside the box. Whatever you can do to get additional information on somebody is the more the better.
And I just definitely put it in the group chat, but if anybody ever feels uncomfortable going somewhere, they can always ask somebody in leadership will go with you.
Okay.
So if you guys didn't hear that, Steph put in a group chat. If anyone doesn't feel comfortable with showing a house, you can always ask someone here at leadership, and someone here at the office will accompany you on that showing. Great point.
All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you for coming out today. The market is still super hot. I was actually just listening to a podcast this morning that came out, and the rates were sitting at 0.277, and the market has not slowed down. There are still plenty of buyers, but the problem is we're really, really, really struggling with listings. So if anyone knows something coming up or knows someone that wants to sell their house that may not have it on the market, let everyone else know, because there's plenty of buyers out there that I'm sure everybody knows that's looking. And I know Ron talked about it earlier too. So that's about it. That's all we got.
Guys, stay safe out there, and keep it in mind, a buddy system always works better than by yourself. So, and your leadership team is here to help you out as well, in case you're feeling a certain type of way on anything.
Oh, I don't know if anybody cares about this, but you said something about like personal alarms and stuff. I actually work for an organization who sells those things. So if anybody wanted any information on personal alarms, there's whistles that look like, pretty jewelry that you can blow if you're in, an emergency situation, and other things, for personal safety, if anybody wanted to contact me.
Wow, that's awesome. Who is that that's speaking?
Joelle Farrell.
Awesome, Joelle. And if you don't mind, do you want to allow Christine to publish the website?
Sure. I'll put it up on the chats.
That's excellent.
It's called Damsel in Defense, and a part of the proceeds from those sales go to help women who have been in compromised situations and help them get back on their feet, whether it be jobs or homes or whatnot. So it goes to a charitable cause also.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. It's a huge aha. Thank you for sharing.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Have a great day. Stay safe, everyone.